Jerome, as you can imagine, the big media already freaking out when this story was released today. But politically speaking, and what does this tell us on Trump's mindset, if this is true, if he did in fact invite Putin for a White House visit? What does it tell us about the investigation?
Well, I've said from the beginning, and the key point in the killing in deep state is that this, it's pretty shocking when you read about the details, but this Russian collusion narrative was concocted as part of a coup d'etat plan within the FBI, and the narrative was known to have no truth to it from the time the Fusion GPS dossier was advanced by James Comey to get permission from the FISA court to do electronic surveillance of Donald Trump. Comey told Congress under oath that the document, the Fusion GPS Russian collusion narrative, could not be validated by the FBI. Yet 3 times he used it to get the electronic surveillance, and he's lying one time or the other when he told the Congress under oath that it couldn't be validated, or when he told the court it was the basis for electronic surveillance of Trump. So I'm not surprised. Anyone who's read Killing the Deep State knows that Donald Trump wants to establish strong relationships with Russia and should not fear doing so, because he was never in collusion with Russia to win the election.
Yeah, he's always been, this cloud has been hanging over his head, and the left is so quick to point out any communication with Vladimir Putin. They seem to think that implicates him in this collusion narrative, but we simply know that's not the case. And no other U.S. president has been under the same type of scrutiny when they need to meet with their Russian counterpart, which is critically important, as you know, to both the Russian president and the U.S. president and our security as a nation.
Well, I think since John Kennedy, since the speech he gave at American University after the Cuban Missile Crisis, it's been clear that we have to maintain communications with the heads of other states, including Russia, including China. It's part of the responsibility of the president. And the Democrats have been running this new McCarthyism where, if you have Russian salad dressing for lunch, you're somehow suspect of collusion with Russia to throw the election. It's nonsense. And what my book proves, and I think we're seeing it now, is we're at the very beginning of what I'm predicting is going to be a massive Trump counterattack, where the real conspirators, the traitors, the Department of Justice and the deep state are going to be brought to justice.
Yeah, it does seem like Trump is feeling himself a little bit, getting his team, the team he actually wants surrounding him right now. So I'm interested to see what his next move is going to be, too. Something else I want to talk to you about, which your name has come up in discussion in several media articles involving a gentleman named Ted Malloch. Malloch is a guy I know. I've interviewed him several times. He was a professor in London, and he was rumored at one point to be the next U.S. ambassador to the European Union. Malloch is also scheduled to testify now before the federal grand jury on April 13th. But the FBI detained and questioned Malloch last week as part of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. He claims he was an informal, unpaid Trump campaign advisor. He also talks about what happened to him at airport security, which is a little bit troubling if you read the reports of that. But tell us a little bit more about Malloch and what's the concern here.
Well, I've known Malloch since 2015 when I began to be interested in his memoirs. We published them at WorldNet Daily. He's a globalist who has opposed the New World Order. He's a patriot, he's a Christian patriot. I've known him since 2015. He's a very, very honest man. It was disgraceful the way that he's picked up like a bad, Edward G. Robinson 1930s movie at the airport, flying in with his wife to have Easter with her family, intercepted, dragged off the airplane at Logan Airport, interrogated by the FBI, separated from his wife, not given his cell phone. His cell phone was confiscated. Malloch would be happy to cooperate as a U.S. citizen, be happy to cooperate with Mueller's special investigation if they'd asked. This is like treating him as a criminal, and it's disgraceful. I think it shows how desperate Mueller's whole and special prosecutor system is right now. He's out of gas. He's proved nothing except 13 wacky Russians who posted on U.S. social media during the election and did not affect the campaign. That's what the outcome of the election, that's what the Justice Department says, and was not in collusion with anyone from Russia or Trump's campaign. That's not been proven. So that's all
That's
Mueller
right.
has. Mueller's out of gas.